What is going on, people? I'm here with a Minervamon deck profile as well as kind of a combo tutorial. This deck is a very crazy combo deck, probably one of the most insane combo decks we've ever seen in this game, even crazier than Lilith Loop, or at least comparable, I would say. So we've got a lot of crazy plays in here. If you want to see all the different combos you can do and kind of rulings associated with this deck, I'd stick around until the end because I'll go over it then. But for as far as the card choices and stuff goes, let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. You already know for the Digi-Eggs playing the best boy, 4 copies of the Demi-Miramon. Enough said. I think this is pretty much going to always be the best purple Digi-Egg, and for this deck, especially because you're killing all of your guys pretty often, it's going to net you a lot of draws. For the level 3s, not playing a very big package, just the 4 copies of the Gabumon, trigger draw 2, and trashing 1 on deletion, just to pair it with the Eismon. This is definitely the best inherited to have. And then for the other Gabumon, we're playing 3 copies of Psychmon. This guy is just broken against the Crossheart matchup or Blue Flare, any deck that utilizes the Digi-Cross condition, because they won't be able to reduce play costs. I think 3 is fine. You could maybe try to fit in 4. But I think you cycle so much in this deck, and you can bring this back off multiple times with your Minervamon. You can recycle it with Calling from Darkness, etc. That 3 is probably enough. And then lastly, for the last 2 rookies here, just 2 copies of Gazimon. Another Floodgate is always good to have. Again, you're not really playing too many removal cards in this deck, as it is a combo deck, so the rookies and other cards you have, if they interrupt your opponent, that is all the better. Only 9 level 3s. I really do not think you need any more than this. Just because, like I said, you cycle so many, you pretty much only ever want to see like 1. There's ways of getting to it. If you draw too many of these guys in your hand, it's dead, and you'll end up just discarding them more often than not. So that's going to do it for the level 3s. For the 4s, playing the best purple card ever created, 4 copies of Graceful Charity, 4 copies of Eismon Scatter Mode, so we get to draw 3, discard 2 on deletion. Definitely want to utilize this as much as possible. Broken over the Goblin Inherited, because then with the Demi-Mira, you're essentially cycling 6 cards. I don't think this really needs any explanation, but Eismon just really broken overall. And then, of course, just the 1 copy of the regular Eismon to go with that. This card's definitely still worth playing. I think still really broken. It allows you to play a champion for free and then go into like a Cerberusmon to continue your combos. And then just 3 other level 4s. Just 2 copies of Devimon. The blockers, whatever, but really just like, this can be anything, honestly. This deck is really flexible. So if you guys have other like level 4s you really prefer, you could play, I'd probably like play them over this one. The 1 cost is nice, that's really the only reason. And then just 1 copy of Ginkakumon Promote for the rush. Being able to bring that off of Minervamon going for games sometimes, maybe if you're missing a Cerberusmon, or maybe you just like, because this costs less, you can play it from hand or whatever. That's nice. And then also being able to evolve on like a level 4, maybe if you're breaking like drawing like Eismon, evolving this, another time cycling card evolving on this is nice. But that's, again, very small level 4 count as well. Not playing too many of those, just because I don't think you really need them. For the level 5s, the heart and soul of the deck is going to be the Cerberusmon package, 4 copies of Cerberusmon, as well as the 4 copies of Werewolf Mode. Both these cards are just absolutely insane. It's crazy to me how these really didn't even see play until like BT5, I want to say. I guess they only came out in BT4, but really a lot of people were sleeping on the on this package. A lot of the early like Lilith Loop builds weren't even playing this package, and it's just baffling to me because Cerberusmon and Werewolf Mode are so crazy together, and this is kind of the core of the loop. We'll talk about this a little bit more later in the video, but this is the core of your loop, and you're basically going to be looping your Cerberusmon as well as your Werewolf Mode. Werewolf Mode has the, of course, Rush keyword, and then on play you can delete a Cerberusmon to gain 9 memory, which seems relatively fair considering he costs 9 and you need to pop a Cerberusmon to do that. So you would typically like have a Cerberusmon, play this for 9, and then gain 9 back, essentially playing it for 0, which is definitely true, playing it from hand and then gaining the draw 2, discard 1. But you have ways to cheat that out with this deck, which is kind of the core reason why Minervamon is so crazy. And then for the other level 5s, one Lucemon Chaos Mode. This is nice, of course, just as a toolboxy card. Level 5 purples are just really good in this deck because you can bring them back off Minervamon and they get their on plays and stuff. So popping Tamers is cool. And then this last card is very, very techy. One copy of Neo Devimon. Again, just as like another floodgatey card against stuff like Crossheart as they're playing tons and tons of Tamer, maybe the obscure hybrid deck every now and then, but just being able to interrupt your opponent, gaining a bunch of memory off their Taiki or whatever. Now, I will say this is a very, very flexible spot. Again, this is not a conventional card by any means. I would probably recommend swapping this out with a Death X-Mon if you have access to a Death X-Mon. I'm not actually playing Death X in this list, just because I realize like not everyone has this card, so I kind of want to let people who don't have this card like still have a pretty solid list to go off of. But if you do have access to Death X, I'd probably recommend just cutting the Neo Devimon from. I don't really think you need more than one. Again, you cycle so much in this deck, the ratios are a little bit weird. 2 is probably okay, but you can again recycle this off Calling from Darkness, etc. So I probably fit in this. This is a flex spot for your level 5 Digimon. And then for the level 6s, of course, the star of the show herself is going to be 4 copies of the Minervamon. So a couple really cool effects. Retaliation, definitely solid, but doesn't really come up that much, I think. And then the opponent's turn effect of when your opponent plays a Digimon, you may play a level 4 or lower purple Digimon from your trash without paying the cost. That, again, does not require them to null their on-play effects. So if you had any level 3s or 4s with on-plays effect, you could get that off of the opponent turn's effect, which is also not once per turn. So if they're playing a bunch of Digimon during their turn, you get to basically just get a free body on board every single time. Now, both of those effects are great. They're on their own, they're fine, but the really crazy effect is going to be that on deletion. If your opponent controls 2 or fewer Digimon, and that is a key kind of restriction there, that's what makes it a little bit tricky, is that you will have to, delete this Digimon. Is that, on deletion, you may play a level 5 or lower Digimon card or one Minervamon from your trash without paying the memory cost. Now, as of recording this video, Minervamon is not currently in the game, so you're effectively being able to play any level 5 or lower Digimon, any of the cards we just talked about, from your trash without paying the memory cost whenever Minervamon dies. So that facilitates some really degenerate stuff. So, for example, being able to play a Cerberusmon Werewolf mode from your trash while getting its on-play effect. So, like, let's say if you've got a Cerberusmon on field, and then you've got a Minervamon or something, and then you, like, swing into security, this dies, or maybe your opponent kills with a card effector, you kill it with one of your own card effects, because you're playing a lot of those cards. Then on deletion, you'll get to play the Cerberusmon Werewolf mode. On play, this will then get to pop this, gaining 9 memory, and then being able to draw cards off of that. So, being able to gain 9 memory off of a free play of Cerberusmon is absolutely disgusting. Most of the time when you're resolving this, you're in such a really powerful position. That's mainly the cards you're going to be bringing back. Of course, like I said, you have other cards. You can bring back the Neo Devi, the Cerberusmon, as well as the Lucemon, who also has, again, a really fantastic on-play effect. So Minervamon, definitely the main card we're going to talk about. And then the other level 6s, one Lilith and one Creepymon. Both of these are definitely good in their own right. Lilithmon, I think she needs no introduction. The Queen herself allows you to grab back 2 purple option cards from your trash, and then whenever you play a purple option card, you get to then gain that memory back. Of course, we're looping Jack Raid with this, as well as, being able to get back, like, Calling from Darkness, your Death Claws, your Dead or Alive, etc. Creepymon is a little bit underwhelming to me, but I think it is important against certain matchups. The 3000 is cool, but really being able to deck out your opponent is the broken part, as well as he has a similar effect where you get to play level 5 or lower. So maybe if your opponent is going wide in this case, where if you trash 2 or more, you get to play level 5 or lower just when you evolve him. So it's kind of the opposite of Minervamon, where with Minervamon you want your opponent to have a few cards, but with Creepymon you want them to have a lot of Digimon. So both of these definitely still playable, I think. So that is going to do it for the level 6s. Lots of option cards to get through. So of course we got the best card in the deck is going to be 4 Revival from the Darkness. A couple things to point out on this card. So this card has the main effect of it's a 4 cost, of course. Delete one of your purple Digimon, then you may play one level 5 or lower purple Digimon from your trash without paying the memory cost. But then, of course, any on plays do not activate. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that this card is worded the same as Calling from the Darkness, and in the fact that if you play this, you do have to delete one of your purple Digimon if applicable. If you don't have any Digimon on play, like let's say your board is empty, you can still play this card. You can still activate Revive from the Darkness and you will still get its effect because it just does the first thing and does the second thing. The second thing is not contingent on the first thing to happen. For example, like Deathclaw, where you need to kill something to kill one of your opponent's level 4s. So this card, the crazy interaction with this is essentially if you've got like a Minervamon, like let's say you've got this scenario where you've got like either of these underneath the Minervamon and then the other one in trash. So like let's say for just example, you've got this scenario. So what you can do is you can play Calling from the Darkness and then you can delete your Minervamon to then resolve this effect, play any of your level 5s from trash. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Cerberusmon back. And then now, since Minervamon was deleted and is in the trash, you can trigger on deletion to play a level 5 purple Digimon, assuming your opponent has the appropriate amount of Digimon on field. Bring back the Cerberusmon. Cerberusmon on play will then delete the Cerberusmon. The Werewolf mode will delete the regular one to gain 9 memory, draw 2 cards. So effectively, by playing this for 4, you've gained back 9 memory. So you are at plus 5 memory. You can then immediately swing with this because it has Rush, and there is the loop, because if you've got another Minervamon, maybe another Calling from Darkness, I'm at, like, let's say I started 0 that turn, I'm back at 5 right now. I can evolve this, go to 2, play this for 4, put my opponent to 2, do the same thing, bring this back off the Revival from Darkness, because of course this one does prevent on plays, but Minervamon doesn't, and then bring this back, pop this, gain 9, I'm back at 7 memory, and then continue the loop. So there's a lot of really degenerate and crazy things you can do with this card, so definitely going to max out on that. For the other Reborn card, playing One Dead or Alive, I still think this is a really crazy bomb in security, whereas the Revive from Darkness just adds to hand. This lets you interrupt your opponent's turns. For example, if you've got like a Cerberusmon on field and then they hit this in security, you can bring back a Werewolf mode, pop it, gain 9 memory to go to your turn, or you can bring back a Lucamon, etc. So it definitely has its utility. The other option cards, of course, triple Jack Raid is really important. I wouldn't go below 3. 4 is fine, but I think you don't really want to see it early game, so that's why I think 3 is like enough. Of course, there's ways to loop it as well. The kill your own guy option card is going to be double Deathclaw and double Calling from Darkness. I've been back and forth on this ratio. I have been trying 3-1 just because a lot of times if your opponent knows you're playing Minerva Loop, they'll spam the board, like assuming, like let's say you're not playing Death X, they'll spam the board with guys so that you can't get your Minervamon, so this kind of helps you like clear the field a little bit, and Calling from Darkness is just a really broken card overall, just being able to recycle stuff. And so that's going to do it for the option cards, and Tamer's just a simple lineup. 1 mat just to grab stuff back if you need it, and then 4 copies of Analog Youth for the consistency, and then gaining a billion memory whenever you pop a Cerberusmon or a Minervamon or something like that. So guys, that is going to do it for the list. I pretty much talked about the main combo here, but let's go ahead and talk about some other scenarios where it's important to, like, let's say, choose your resolution timings, okay? So let's say you've got a stack that's something like this. Maybe you've got like a Minervamon. Let me just show you some cool stuff you can do. So for example, if I've got a stack like this, or I've got some draws and discards and I've got a Minervamon, like let's say I kill my own Minervamon, I play Deathclaw, kill this goes to the trash, kill one of my opponent's level 4, so this is my trash right now, it's all these cards. So all of these 3 effects are pending, so I can choose to resolve these in any order. So like let's say, like this is my trash, and maybe I've got like a Cerberusmon on field already, to be able to like utilize. So I've got like this in hand, and then I've got like this on field. So one thing you could do is like trigger your Demi-Meramons first, draw some cards, discard this, and then maybe do the same for Goblimon, and then afterwards you can trigger Minervamon to bring back the Cerberusmon you discarded after the fact to pop the one you have on field to gain the memory. So remember that you can, if you've got multiple triggers going off at the same time, you can choose the order. So you can choose like your discards before the Minervamon, which definitely helps out a lot, because there's been times like even if like let's say I had like both of these in hands, I can then discard like draw 2, discard 1, draw 1, discard 1, and then bring back whichever one I want off of the Minervamon. So there's a lot of utility to be had there. Some other cool interactions you can kind of take advantage of are going to be Werewolf Mode and Calling from Darkness. Like I said, this doesn't trigger the on-plays effects, but let's say if you're in need of just one more swing and all you need is like a body to go for game. Again, like let's say your field is empty, you can go ahead and just play this. Like maybe if you got a purple source like an egg or something, you can go ahead and just play this, delete something, you don't have anything, bring back a Cerberusmon, and while you can't trigger its on-play, it does have Rush, so you can immediately swing. So this is really good, maybe in the scenario where you just need like a single more hit. You can also achieve that with like if you're deleting your Minervamon to bring back like your Ginkakumon promote, if I can find that somewhere. Yeah, so maybe if you want to get like 2 hits in, you've got like this stack, you can like, and this is in your trash, you can like play this, delete the Minervamon, bring back the Cerberusmon, Minervamon, bring back Ginkaku, and then that's 2 swings with Rush. So there's a lot of different ways you can do damage off of card effects to your opponents. And then so let's go ahead and do a couple of just test hands just to see what we're working with here. Sometimes it's best to just like get an idea just off of playing the game. So let's shuffle it up here. Let's go top 5 to security. And let's go ahead and start. Our starting hand is really broken, so you can see with like a hand like this, maybe I'm going first, so I'd go ahead and just hatch, like evolve my Psychmon, draw my card. I'd probably like Eismon here first before the Analog Youth, and then go ahead and like maybe pass turn, put my opponent to 2. And you can see here I've already got 2 of my main combo pieces, so regardless of what my opponent's doing, like this deck really doesn't care. So let's say I draw again for turn, I'm swinging into my opponent's security or one of their Digimon. If it dies, that's good, because I kind of need the draws right now. But other than that, you pretty much try to establish this loop as quickly as possible. Usually you want like one of these in trash just in case your opponent hits like a dead or alive in your security, or in case you like draw into it or you draw into this card as well. So maybe if you've resolved your Eismon, you can go ahead and draw 3. I'll go ahead and maybe discard the Lucamon, as well as like another Analog Youth. I don't need multiples. Draw 1, discard the Neo Devi or something. So this is like in my trash, and then you can kind of just go from there. There's not really any main lines of play here. All I'm going to do is just start activating cards, start hitting buttons. So then I'm going to grab the Cerberusmon, and then so it does take a little bit to set up. So you saw that's like basically 2 turns worth of stuff. So let's say I start my like 3rd turn. I'm going to go ahead and draw hatch, and then now I can kind of just build up in the back a little bit. So I'll go ahead and probably just like Digivolve this, and maybe if I've got a little bit more memory, I'll pass turn with the Cerberusmon. And so you typically need like 2 to 3 turns to just kind of set up. But now you see I've got Analog Youth plus Cerberusmon, so then now I can like swing and then maybe play the Revival from the Darkness, or maybe Digivolve straight into Minervamon, or play the Cerberusmon for my hand. So I could definitely like play the Cerberusmon from my hand, pop this, gain memory, hatch another egg, and then swing, like Digivolve into this, Revival from Darkness, since I've used both of these, like pop this, bring back this off of its effect, bring back this off Minerva, so you're already set up from there. So that's kind of how I would take the approach. There's a lot of thinking involved for sure, but honestly, like I would just kind of like practice a lot with the deck, just see like how you want to respond in different scenarios, and just hit some buttons, just like start activating stuff. Like worst case scenario, you're like basically you're just trying to like get Cerberusmon Werewolf Mode and to pop this guy. So that's kind of like the main combo you're going for. So as long as you can pull that off, I think it's totally fine. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for the Minervamon list. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think of the deck profile. I still think it's a really solid contender for the set 10 format, although definitely has some difficulties dealing with stuff like Crimson Blaze and with stuff like the floodgates that don't let you play stuff by card effects, like the Palmon, etc. So definitely, if you expect to see a lot of those sorts of cards, try to like tech against it. But anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. If you got any questions about how the deck functions, any ruling questions or whatever, let me know down in the comment section below. And comment if you like this video. It really helps me out a lot. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.